If you enjoy the Undisputed Wrestling Show right here on YouTube, remember that you can hear it live every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central on AngryMarks.com, where you can also interact with the hosts of the show, the Prophet Rick Craig, the Morning Star William Huckabee, and the Bearded Wonder Zane Paisley by joining us in the AngryMarks.com/chat. All sponsored by WrestleWork, your social media resource for all things pro wrestling. Check them out today at WrestleWork.com. Thank you, and enjoy this final segment of Shane Douglas on the Undisputed Wrestling Show from AngryMarks.com.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
And so, at the same exact time, like within weeks of each other, the baby thing starting, and then Paul and Todd coming to me and offering me really, really good money. Money that I'd never expected to make in ECW. And my thinking at the time was clear. I'll take this year. I'll defer. You can defer your enrollment. I'll defer for a year. In that year, I'll save a hell of a lot of money because my mortgage is only $496 a month. I bought a small house and renovated the hell out of it, paying cash as I went along. So I didn't have a lot of overhead. And so the money that was coming in, that was much, much greater then than it was a few weeks before. I figured in that first year I'll be able to sock a bunch of money away, and we're going to need it. If I'm going away to medical school for several years, we're going to need some income or some money to live off of. So I thought for a year I'll just sock away every dime I can possibly sock away, and then go next year. Well, the year came and went, and no baby, no pregnancies, and the money in ECW was getting even better. So I thought, well, I'll defer for a second year, and I'll definitely go to med school next year. That's it. If ands or buts. And I had saved a ton of money in that first year, so I thought the second year I'll save even more. And at the time it made perfect sense. As I look back now, I look at the mirror and say, "Well, what a schmuck you were! What an idiot move!" But it's like I said earlier, I believe that we are where we are in life because of everything that's gone before. And yep. I'm in a very good place in my life. I'm happier now than I've been in years. I've got two incredible boys that I marvel at every day, watching them become the young men that they're becoming. And I'm at a really good place right now. I'm as happy as I could possibly be. I don't know how I could be any happier than I am, and I'm content. And so, and I've got a lot of exciting things going on in my life. So, there's really no reason to look back and say, what if, because, who knows, I might have got on the plane, go to medical school, and the plane could have crashed. So it's, Jim Duggan, words of wisdom from Jim Duggan. Hacksaw said, when we were on the set of Pro Wrestling vs. Zombies, he said, it's hell to make 45 in this business, but if you make 45, you're clear sailing from there. And I laughed. I said, well, I'm north of that, so I guess I'm in the clear sailing portion of my waters of my career. I look back and there's been a whole lot of bad stuff happened in my career, but a 1,000 times more good stuff that happened. And I think that's life in general. Nobody gets to go around here that gets just a all bowl full of cherries. Everybody's got ups and everybody's got downs. I think, as I look back over my life and in my career, the choices I've made, going to college and getting master's equivalencies and my teaching certification, accepted to medical school. Even though I've never used them, I have used them. The wisdom that I've gained from all that education has been very helpful for a million of the things I've done in my life. But it's all part of what every one of those stops in my life: college, wrestling. My post-college, my marriage that ultimately failed. All of those things were like going to a movie. Let's go to a movie, you bowl of popcorn, have a big, nice Diet Coke, and when the movie's over, we'll leave the theater, we'll come back again tomorrow and see the next movie. It's been a thrilling ride. It's been a hell of a fun time. So, for me, I'm more excited about the next 50 years. It's new challenges, new things coming up. That's what, to me, I don't in any way feel old in my head. I don't necessarily recognize the guy I see in the mirror every morning, but having two kids that are 13 and 9, keep me very young. I'm out outside throwing the football with my kids, or playing video games, or going to the theater with them and hanging with them, and going to their school functions. And So that's all exciting, and I still have a ton of hopes and dreams and aspirations and things that I want to accomplish. And, so I'm in a really good place right now. And I think that I'm here because of everything that's gone on before. So for the few bad things that happened in my life and in my career, if that's part of the ingredients that went in to get me where I am now, life is good and it's good to be Shane Douglas, so I've got no complaints whatsoever. I watched my mother and father work themselves to death at really shitty jobs, and I never wanted that for my life. So I've been able to avoid that, thank God, and thankful to my mother and father for everything they did for us, their kids. But I didn't want that for me, and I don't look down on my parents in any way. I'm thankful that they gave the work ethic that I have from them, and I'm thankful for that. But I didn't want that for my life. And so there was a learning curve that went into it, and I became educated, the first of my family to do that, and went on to achieve a hell of a lot more in wrestling than I had ever ambitioned to do when I first got into wrestling. I don't think anybody gets into wrestling telling them, if they do, they're delusional, that they're going to become the world heavyweight champion. And to look back over my career and see multiple world championships and tag team championships and, belt title holds and runs and that, in our business, we know what that means. That means the company had the belief that you were the guy that could draw the money. And, so in its own way, that's validation enough for me. And, it's everybody else is going to decide in the end ultimately anyway, people always say to me, who's the best wrestler, and who is the best this, and who is the greatest that. I don't buy into that kind of stuff because, you take 10 people and you show them 10 wrestlers and you get 10 different opinions. It's in the eye of the beholder, but I'm content with what I've accomplished in my career. I'm thankful I've had the opportunity to do it. When a fan comes up and says, I just want to say thank you, Shane, I've enjoyed watching your matches over the years. That's a pretty cool thing to hear from somebody. I used to undersell it, and I'd tell people, and I've said it in interviews before, look, in the overall scheme of things, this is like one of the comments I used to make. In the overall scheme of the cosmos, what we do is not very important. And somebody pointed out to me, and then I thought about it, and they were right. They said, entertain people. And, entertaining people is to me a higher calling. Life is tough. We all know that. So I've been given the opportunity to be able to go out and play cowboys and Indians for my entire life and make a good living doing it. And then also helping people forget about that crappy boss they have to see Monday through Friday, or that bad marriage they're in, or, the shitty circumstances of their life or whatever. To have them be able to forget that for 10, 20, 30 minutes while we're out there performing, I guess that's a pretty cool thing, and I feel blessed to have been given the opportunity to be able to do it and to have had such a long career at it.
When you said you had words of wisdom from Jim Duggan, I'm so glad you didn't say, oh. Shane, we could talk to you all night, and I hope we can have time where we have you back on the show again so we can really nitpick about the business and talk about, some of the things that are going on today. So you are formally invited to join us, hopefully at a future date. Before we let you go for the evening, let's talk again about what we're going to see this Saturday, because the Undisputed Wrestling Show, Shane, will be in Marion, Indiana on Saturday to meet you and watch you go into that steel cage for the ICW Intense Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Championship in that cage. Shane, what are you going to do to Troy Miller in that cage?
Well, I always like taking things to the extreme, and if you can get any more extreme inside a steel cage, I certainly plan to go on Saturday night. There's two sides of Shane. Somebody pointed this out to me one time. You see yourself in the mirror every day, and somebody said to me, there's two Shane Douglases. There's a Shane Douglas that sits in the dressing room and talks to guys, and then there's that intense guy in the ring, and they don't seem like they're the same person. And I think that's, a good and bad thing. I take my craft very seriously. I always have.
Mr. Douglas, I thank you so much for giving us your time today. It was a great honor to be able to talk to you tonight. We will see you on Saturday, get to talk to you in person, and witness this match firsthand. Take care, brother.
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in Marion as well. It's been some time since I've been down that neck of the woods. I'm looking forward to it. So I'm looking forward to having a great match on Saturday night. So it's going to be a good, fun time on Saturday night not to miss.
The Angry Marks Podcast Network is brought to you by WrestleWork, a social network to connect, create, and share everything about pro wrestling. Check it out today at WrestleWork.com.